Greenwich Village, New York, 1964. In a fourth-floor apartment on McDougal Street, a widow swore her late husband was still writing, not in dreams, not in visions, but on his old black Underwood typewriter. This is one of Dr. Hans Holzer's most unsettling cases of spirit contact through a machine, the one he called the typewriter that wouldn't stop. The widow's name was Margaret Ellison. Her husband, Thomas Ellison, had been a journalist for the New York Evening Post, a man obsessed with words and deadlines. Thomas died suddenly of a heart attack in 1962, leaving behind an unfinished manuscript. Margaret kept his typewriter exactly as it was the night he died, paper still rolled in, the last line mid-sentence. For nearly 2 years, it sat untouched in the corner of her living room, until one night in March 1964, when she woke to the sound of typing. Margaret got out of bed, heart pounding. The keys were moving, pressing down, but no one was in the chair. She froze, watching letters appear on the page. Not gone. The keys stopped. Silence. Margaret backed away and left the page exactly as it was. In the morning, she called the only person she thought could help, Dr. Hans Holzer. Holzer arrived on March 14th, 1964, with his trusted psychic medium Ethel Johnson Myers. Margaret described multiple incidents: the sound of typing between 2 and 3 a.m., the smell of Thomas's tobacco pipe in the living room, though the pipe was packed away in a drawer. Pages left in the machine with short messages. Remember the lake, finish it, and once cold. Holzer set up his tape recorder near the typewriter and began asking questions out loud. Ethel, in trance, said she sensed Thomas in the room, restless, frustrated that his work was incomplete. Holzer asked, Thomas, can you give us a sign? The typewriter keys began to move. One letter at a time, the machine spelled. Page 7. Margaret retrieved the unfinished manuscript. Page 7 was missing. Holzer asked Thomas, what was on page 7? The typewriter typed a single word, truth. Holzer later wrote in his notes, the energy around the Underwood was stronger than I had experienced in other mechanical hauntings. The air was charged. Even those in the room felt the vibration through the floorboards when the keys struck. At one point, Ethel gasped and said, he's standing right behind you, Hans. Holzer turned. The chair at the typewriter shifted back an inch. Holzer conducted 3 sessions over the course of a week. On the final night, Margaret asked her husband directly, do you want me to finish your work? The typewriter typed 3 quick words. Not yours, mine. Holzer believed Thomas's spirit was bound to the typewriter, the object most tied to his identity in life. The unfinished manuscript and the missing page 7 was the emotional anchor keeping him there. He warned Margaret not to dispose of the typewriter, saying, it is not a cursed object, but a doorway. If it leaves your possession, it may open for someone else. Margaret kept it until her death in 1981. The manuscript was never completed. Page 7 was never found. Maybe Thomas Ellison was just a man who hated leaving work undone. Or maybe he found a way to keep writing long after the deadline passed. So the next time you hear the click of keys in an empty room, you might want to check the paper. It may have your name on it. based on the true investigation by Dr. Hans Holzer. Like and subscribe, or the next time you sit at your desk, you might not be the one typing.